Hey, well, I'm back, and today I've got a question for you. And the question is, have you ever given so much of yourself into a relationship, whether it's a personal, intimate relationship, a work relationship, a business partnership relationship, whatever that is, and you lost everything? Or maybe it didn't work out the way that you fantasized it would, or expected it would, or thought it should. Let me know if this is relevant for you. Drop down a like or a comment, engage with me down below, and just let me know if this is something that you have had an experience with. And a few more questions that I have for you with relevance to this is, do you take on too much responsibility? Do you take on more than your fair share with that? Do you, and then feel overburdened with that? Do you say yes to people's requests for fear of actually not being seen as polite or nice, or just because you feel like it's the right thing to do, you should because somebody asked? What about, do you easily feel confused or frustrated by the responsible situations, perhaps when you ask for some help and it doesn't get reciprocated? Or do you feel confused about and even frustrated about some situations that you can't control? That's another one. What about this one? Are you constantly available for others but not yourself? So these three questions, well, four really, I really wanted to bring to light to just sort of have a little bit of a mini conversation with you. I'm just going to bring my microphone closer. I realized it was far away. Sorry. And also really have it with relevance to how this experience, when you give so much to other people, it comes at a great cost to yourself, and it comes at a great cost to your own resources, comes at a great cost to your own finances, your own health and your well-being. And if this feels like it's something relevant for you, like I said, drop a comment down below, say yes. So I want to share with you just a couple of lessons that I've learned around this, and that, what comes up quite frequently when I'm sharing opportunities with my clients to do energy clearing and balancing with them. And I totally relate to all of this situation because it's something I've been through, and I've got the experience of, connecting into relationships that I've overgiven in, and then feel like I've actually lost more of my life force and lost more of my opportunities than I have actually gained something. And I'm going to take you through a little bit of a pathway here so you can get the transformational arc with it. And if it's something that is relevant for you today, and you can take away some of these key lessons to go and implement immediately to have an immediate shift and feel much better, then that's the point of this short video. So one of the key things that comes up with the relationships, and I've seen this again and again and again, because I work predominantly with women, and this happens for men too. So I want this to be really clear that this is a pattern for humanity. It does, in my experience, because I serve so many women, I see it in women, but that doesn't mean that it's really any different. It's the pattern itself is where you're overgiving to somebody else because you're caught into this fantasy that you need to serve somebody else in order to be validated. And it's so common, so common in really highly ambitious women, really, go-getters, and as well as very quiet and very introverted as well. But at the same time, the same common qualities are super caregivers, big-hearted nurturers, empaths, highly sensitive, really willing, and you're feeling like you can feel, here's the key, you feel people's emotions and situations in advance and probably articulate it, or at least respond to it better than somebody else can. So you're anticipating people's needs. And a lot of that comes down to really kind of feeling like in order to be accepted and validated, you can go and fix that. Another part of that, because I know this was with myself when I didn't have really strong, healthy boundaries, is I thought that if I could help somebody else feel better, I would feel better because I could feel the energy coming back onto me. And I just interpreted that as, oh, well, gosh, you're an extension of me. So I'll just, fix you, rescue you, do whatever it is, right? And ultimately, that doesn't work. And we know that logically, but are we still doing it? And if we're still doing it, or if you're still doing it yourself, this is such a great little video for you. So one of the things around that, though, is we get programmed into these social conditions and who we are meant to be and how we're meant to be. And if we're in this over caregiving state at the cost of our own selves, where we're taking care of other people's needs at the cost of our own selves, building other people's dreams at the cost of our own dreams, then a lot of that is rooted in a much earlier foundational experience where there was perhaps a parent or a caregiver where there was a time when, in order for you to have even your most foundational needs met, emotionally even, not just physically, but even emotionally, and most critically emotionally, that model is what becomes that foundation to build your adulthood relationships on, where you just need to keep saying yes and walking on eggshells even around people and taking care of other people. If you say no, you get rejected. And so that's the fear of, well, if I don't do it, I'm going to be outcast. I'm going to be rejected. I'm not going to be loved. I'm not going to be enough. And that's painful. So in order to avoid doing that, we just overgive. And we wrap it up logically with, well, I just care. And the thing is, in the I just care for you, what we're really doing in that process is really discarding the care for self. And we're projecting this unconscious program where we're expecting somebody else to take care of our needs because I'm taking care of yours. And that program is devastating. Have you had that experience in your life? And, one of the things is, I know for myself, when I used to run that program, I'd just, find the next person that I could, over care give, and then it would just be the same program, end up with the same result. Instead of being this Disney fantasy of happily ever after, it ends up turning out to being a nightmare. And so one of the things that I like to share around that one is to become, ditch that fantasy and create your own happily ever now, and really look at taking care of self and turning a lot of that attention inward and building that attention and that with that nourishment that grows within self. And then associated with that is the next lesson that I learned. When we care for ourselves, our confidence and our competence goes up. When we discard that self-care because we feel that we're giving all our energy to other people, and then we're drained, we're exhausted, we don't have any energy left to be taking care of ourselves, and we think that if we're caught in that pattern, what we will think and do is actually keep giving to other people in order to actually try and get that energy, or completely flip and go into complete hermit mode and just like, oh God, I need to check out from the world. I'm not even available on this planet right now because I'm just an empty tank. And then it just keeps flip-flopping back and forth. So I want to invite you that, one of the key lessons that I learned around being in a very narcissistic relationship, I've been in a few, where, drained, I'd give that energy away, and then it would drain me, and I'd question my intuition, I'd question my worthiness, I'd question my value. And, in order to do that, I'd end up getting sort of wanting to actually do more to try and prove my worthiness and value, right? But what I learned from that was that path of deceit, if you like, from somebody else who was saying, I'm going to be an equal partner, but then really they're not actually contributing to that. They're unless it's like going to serve them. But the key that I learned through that one is really stepping into being my own shiro, and, really looking out for myself, taking care of me, and trusting that intuition, and trusting myself to take care of me, trusting myself to say no to somebody's request with healthy boundaries, being loving and kind about it. It doesn't have to be rude, and then also trusting myself to be responsible for my energy and my responses, and that I'm not responsible for somebody else's reaction or manipulation or trying to control me emotionally to gather me into and recruit me into their agenda. So that was another lesson. So there's ditch the fantasy and create your own happily ever now. And the next one is make sure that you tune into that attention to giving it to yourself, and trust in yourself and your intuition, and that will build that self-worth and that confidence. The third lesson is, and this one's linked into both the first two as well, is you can know that you've got some exceptional talents and skills, and you can know that you've provided amazing value. You can know that you've created amazing things in your life. And if you allow yourself to continue being inside an environment where there is a relationship, whatever that is for you. It could be intimate, it could be family, it could be a friend, it could be a client, it could be a business associate, it could even be a neighbor or somebody who is in your environment, somebody who is having some impact in your life because you're allowing it, it's in your close proximity. Then with that energy continually being siphoned out and that discord, that disharmony that's happening, it really creates this attachment to shame. And that's the lowest vibrational energy on the emotional scale. And it's very painful. It's one blink away from death. I mean, it's emotional death. And, you know, when we have any energy disharmony connected with shame, it's very difficult to allow ourselves to be in a state of joy and creation and moving forward to create a happily ever now. Why? Well, the main reason is because it's such a low vibrational energy. And it also evokes questions, really poor quality questions in our negative thinking, negative patterns that associate to things like, well, what did I do wrong? What have I done that's not, that, how can I fix it? Why am I not worthy? Why is this happening to me again? Why can't it be better? Just all these really, quite honestly, they're lousy quality questions. And we've all had them. Me too. I've had them in the former self that in the past, this is how I used to think. And I realized that in order for me to make those shifts, I had to do the deep inner work. I had to do that clearing. I had to let that go because logically I knew different. Smart, ambitious, strong, powerful woman. But internally, I wasn't embodying all that because it felt like from the inside, I was kind of rotting at the core. It felt like God. And, it didn't feel like God. It felt like, God, what do I have to do to make these shifts? And the key, I want to just help you out here and say, it's not what you have to do for yourself or for anyone else. It's actually who you have to be. It's being ready to accept that, okay, what the programs you were operating on, they were the best you were doing with what you could do at the time. And now that you have a new level of awareness, even if it's a thinking, I know that awareness, and you're not necessarily getting it in your body yet, rather than going into the judgment, which is opposite of love. And it's a much lower energy in the vibrational scale, right? Love is really high and it vibrates high. But when you go into the being and you're going into acceptance and you're going into, hey, look, I was doing the best that I could with what I knew. And here I am. I'm going to do the best with what I can now with what I know and apply. And then I'm just going to keep getting better and better and better. I'm going to find out some, new opportunities and new questions. The thing with shame, when our lives have any emotional root in shame, it keeps us in procrastination. It keeps us in doubt, self-doubt. It keeps us in sabotage. We feel stuck. We feel like we're not worthy of moving forward. We feel like we're not worthy of receiving even the most glorious help from anybody. Like nothing. We just reject it all. It orbits around us, but it can't dock. And so I wanted to really bring that to attention because I know that the typical strategies most people go for, and I once did this for myself, was if I just do this one more, if I just do that thing, and if I just help this person, if I just do this, then it's all going to get better real quickly. But that's not the way it works. You've got to flip that paradigm and realize, who do I need to be in order to match my frequency with that vision that I really have, and letting go of the fantasy and also giving away of power outside of self to people and things and circumstances, pulling that power back in and recognizing, hang on, that shift is within me. I am love. And I haven't been expressing that for myself. So why, understand this, your frequency will only be matched with that with which you express vibrationally. So if you're not taking care of yourself, if you don't love yourself, then you can't have somebody else who comes in who is willing to dock and frequency and be in a frequency with you any higher than that frequency. So here's the thing, as empaths, we get so caught up sometimes in the victim mode of the woundedness because we're frazzled and sensitive. And that might be a bit jarring to hear that. But the essence of that is that it's the same energy at the root as somebody who is the taker, the narcissist. Both at the core is there's no self-love. There's no self-care. It's just one is balancing out the other one. Hey, Bernie and Michelle, lovely to see you. So, if you want to shift the reflection back in what you're experiencing in people in your life to match a higher level quality, a better quality of life, better quality of relationships, whether that's with um, an intimate relationship, friendships, business associates, clients, whoever, then when you raise that level of frequency within yourself by releasing a lot of those energies that are holding you back, it's as simple as that. But it's simple in the head, but the question is, are you applying it? And it is a little more difficult to get it in alignment in the body, because the subconscious mind is the goal getter, if you like, whereas the conscious mind is the goal setter. We know things in our conscious mind. I know I want this. And then you materialize more of the things you don't want. And that, if you're experiencing that, that's because the subconscious mind programs aren't in alignment with the conscious desires. And when you align those subconscious programs, which if you're activated in fear and you have unhealed emotional trauma, or any trauma, chemical, emotional, physical, financial, if any of those, you can't just avoid those situations and put your head in the sand or blinkers on and just tune it out and think that things are going to get better if I just go to this direction. All you're doing is you're dragging all that weight with you energetically, but it's behind you and you can't see it. The challenge is everyone else around you can, right? It's like, oh my gosh. And then that just exacerbates the shame, right? Because at some level we know that that's true. So I really wanted to bring this up with you to be able to help you connect some dots, but also apply some steps moving forward. So what do you do about it? How do you move through it? Well, like I said, some of my key learnings is I had to accept that where I was at and ditch the fantasy of what was going on, because I realized that program, the Disney program, that ain't working. And realizing I'm just going to create my own happily ever now. I don't have to make after. It doesn't have to be down the track. Yes, I have dreams and goals that are, days, weeks, months, years, decades down the corridor of life. But I don't have to put off feeling better until then. I can do that now. I can do that by simply choosing to love me now. And I'm inviting you to do that for yourself too. And start taking some practices around that. What could you do today, immediately, right now, to demonstrate to yourself, no one else involved, that you love you and that you're worthy of receiving love. You're worthy of giving it to yourself. You're worthy of receiving it, and you step forward and you do that. So, and taking care of yourself, being aware of the deceit that is available everywhere around. And if you're an empath or highly sensitive, your life lesson is going to be very similar to mine as well, where until you step into your power, you're going to be keep giving away your power. People will happily take it. And you got to remember that your role is not to be responsible for somebody else. Your role is to actually be responsible for yourself. And as a result of that, you can turn the dimmer switch of your own light up, shine brighter. And then don't be trying to rescue everybody else. Those around you who are ready, willing, and able, and to take responsibility for their own life, they'll turn their lights up too. And they'll be really appreciative of the way that you lit the path up for them, because you simply took care of you and the bright light, and that energy just keeps vibrating higher and higher, and you'll experience more of a full cup of life force energy more often than not. Taking care of yourself will also lead to a new dynamic where instead of staying in a negative loop or a mindset or letting things affect you for hours, days, weeks, or months, when you're taking good care of yourself, you're managing a discipline of looking after your own energy, and you're managing and disciplining yourself to be responsible for your own mood and for feeling good. And so when life knocks you out of balance, and it will, sucky things happen, right? It does. It happens to all of us. Really sucks. But you don't have to let those sucky moments to drain the life force energy out of you for a long period of time. You can give yourself a container of maybe 10 minutes and go, oh my God, that didn't feel good, or an hour if you need to. But you can then use it, take immediate action, go and raise your own energy, feel good and feel better. Do that through getting grounded. Do it through taking care of yourself and nourishing yourself with good, healthy food, drinking enough water, getting enough sleep, really taking care of your mind, body, and soul. And you're going to do that through your nervous system, because your nervous system is either going to be activated in fight and flight, which is never a good thing because you will go into destruction and sabotage and stuff, or you're going to be activating yourself into the parasympathetic nervous system, rest and digest, being calm and feeling relaxed. And in that beautiful state, you can create a new possibility for yourself. So if this has been really great value for you, please give me some love down below. Let me know what has been a real aha for you. What action are you going to take today, right now, to go and care for yourself moving forward? If you can come up with 3 things, that's awesome. Even if it's just one to start with, go do it. Move your body. Get yourself into a state of a next level of higher energy. And, if you're feeling pretty low and in the pit, don't try and get up into a high level state of joy at first. You're just going to go give the middle finger and say, get lost, right? Because, it's a big leap, a big jump. But what if you could just go one little vibrational step up, then the next, and then the next, and then the next, and the next. And before you know it, you're feeling pretty good. And in a state of feeling good, you're going to go and create your own happily ever now. Pretty cool? Ditch that fantasy. Go create your own happily ever now. Get out of the hole and into your soul. Love, light, and manifesting lots and lots of magic.